This is Algebra 2, Lesson 73, number 11. And it says, let f of x equal, let me write that down, f of x equal x minus 6, and let g of x equals 3x, and A, find the composition. They want f composed with g of x, and g composed with f of x. Well, this is just for letter A. We'll get to letter B after we're done with this one. So I like to, this little round thing that looks like it says fog, that just means f composed with g of x, which really means f of g of x. So I just write it like that. And then I would write this g of f of x. F of g of x means I'm going to take g of x and plug it into f of x. Oops, I lost something right there. So this g of x is 3x. So f of x, I'm going to go 3x minus 6. F of g of x is 3x minus 6 because I took g of x and plugged it into the x. See the 3x? It went whoop and it got plugged right in there. So that's all. That's the answer for part of letter A. And then let's write g of f of x. Well, that's where I'm going to take f of x and plug it into g of x. So g of x is 3 times something, 3 times x. But instead of x, I'm going to plug in x minus 6. Okay, so I just plugged f of x. F of x to x minus 6 got plugged in right there. See, that number got plugged in right there. 3 times that. And then you can just fix it up a little bit. You can distribute. That's 3x minus 18. That's g of f of x. Now that was just letter A. So here's 2 answers for letter A. You got f of g of x, you have g of f of x, and then we want to do letter B. Letter B says, evaluate the composition of functions f of g of x, which we already just found, g of f of x, which we already just found for x equals -1. So I would just say f of g of -1, that's the proper notation for it. Just plug it in, plug the -1 in there. So 3 times -1 is -3 minus 6. Should I show it? So that's going to be -3 minus 6. That's going to be -9. Okay, that's f of g of -1. And then I can do it here, just plug the -1 in. G of f of -1 is 3 times -1 minus 18. So that's -3 minus 18. That's -21. Right? Yay, that was A and B. Is that all? That's all.